Alright everybody, welcome. We're going to be doing a video today on the brand new Cessna Corvalis 400TT. This is coming to us from Alabeo Simulations. Recently Alabeo and Coronado, I think, worked out some kind of an agreement where now they're sharing each other's products. So we're checking this one out. It's brand new, just released yesterday. It's just an absolutely beautifully detailed model of the Cessna Corvalis. This thing is an amazing high-performance aircraft, and I'm really glad that they decided to go ahead and provide this one to us. So we're going to do a quick short flight from Destin, Florida, and we're going to fly down to Panama City. Should be about a 15-minute flight, and we'll go over some of the controls and all that good stuff as we're making that flight. So let's go ahead and get started here. We'll bring up our MFD panel, and we can see it's got the nice Garmin G1000 in there. We got our standard steam gauges over here to the side as backups. The interior of the aircraft is just beautifully detailed as usual. I mean, you really can't get much better than Alabeo and Coronado aircraft when it comes to the general aviation category. So I'm sorry I don't have a track IR system. It seems to have gone kaput on me as of late, so I'm kind of having to make the more jerky movements here using the keyboard and whatnot. But just taking a look around, we have our main computer panel down here. We have our two G1000 setups. Our autopilot system is actually right inside of here, situated in between. So we've got all of our autopilot controls. Here we have all of our standard, G1000 soft keys. Pretty standard setup on the inside, nothing terribly remarkable. It is a beautifully modeled interior, though. One thing that I have noticed is trying to taxi this aircraft is somewhat difficult. It uses, I think, only differential braking. So we're going to go ahead and try and taxi out of here and actually get onto the runway here at Destin. So if I'm taxiing poorly, I apologize for that. But this thing is kind of a bear to get onto the center line or onto the taxiway. So, I mean, right now I've got in full turn and it's not doing anything unless I throw in those brakes. So something to be aware of. Ground handling on this aircraft is touchy at best. A little bit about me. I am an actual licensed private pilot. I got my license about 4 years ago actually now, and I really enjoy flying these little general aviation aircraft on Flight Sim. They're just an absolute joy to fly, and I use Flight Sim to kind of help maintain proficiency. As far as staying flying when I can't actually afford to go out and rent the aircraft and fly. So I learned a lot of the stuff that I needed to know before I even went to go get my license using Flight Simulator. So it's an outstanding program. If you haven't tried it already and you're into the simulation type gaming or you're into aviation, I highly recommend that you get this simulator and really explore those general aviation aircraft. I mean, we all know Coronado is up there at the top of the list. Alabeo is right there with them, and A2A Simulations has a really nice Cessna 172, Cessna 182, and also a Piper Cherokee, I believe it is. So coming up here trying to make this turn. I wish there was a way to brake a little bit lighter on that differential braking. You see the nose just dipping all over the place as soon as I hit the brakes there. So let's go ahead and take this bad boy out on the runway here. Get us all lined up and get ready for takeoff. I don't know the actual checklist for this aircraft, and I didn't see one included with it from Alabeo, so that's something to look up. I'm sure if you pulled out an actual pilot's operating handbook for this thing, it'd tell you everything you need to know. Alright, so we're on center line now. We're lined up. Let's go ahead and take off and feel the power behind this thing. Just keep an eye down here on the on your speed. You can see just how fast this thing really does accelerate. It's got a ton of power behind it. Really just begs to be ripped off the runway. There we are at rotate speed. And we're off. And we'll establish a V2 climb right here at a about 100 knots, 102 knots maybe. Looking good so far. Which looks nice and steady in a climb. Just holding that nose up there. Just pull the nose down just a little bit. We got about a 15-degree climb in right now. About a 12-degree, I guess. 12-degree climb. We're climbing at about 950 feet per minute. I'm going to go ahead and make the right turn out from the airport. Now that we've established our VY climb rate. I've got the throttle just totally firewalled right now at the moment, so it's all the way forward. And we got about 1,150 foot per minute climb coming in. I think I was taking off with the wind there. I probably should have gone the other way. Because yesterday I was getting about 1,300 feet per minute climb rate. Alright. Pretty much the flight from here to Panama City is just straight down the coastline of Florida. So we'll, look at that, 1,900 feet per minute climb. Let's see where it levels out at. Let me bring it down here. Yeah, I think that was part of my problem. I think I took off with the wind. So we got about 1,100, 1,200 feet per minute climb going on right now, holding the speed steady. And we're going east, so I'll bring it up to about 3,500 feet before I level off. So, as I was saying, I mean, Alabeo really is an amazing simulations program. I have several of their aircraft. This one just happens to be the newest one that just came out, so, you know, I wanted to make a video for those of you that are contemplating buying it. It seems so far to be everything that you could hope for it to be. It's a nice, high-performance, higher-speed aircraft. Once we actually get up to our cruising altitude here of 3,500 feet, I'm in a thermal. Look at that. 2,100 feet per minute. Hit a thermal there. I got the real world weather on, so sometimes you'll hit those and they'll really carry you up. We're coming up on 3,500 feet here. Go ahead and bring the nose down and level off. Get the aircraft trimmed out. And we'll go ahead and accelerate to our cruise speed, and then we'll pull the power back. I think this thing should get up to around about 160 knots or so, I think is around cruise for this thing. So it's a nice fast airplane, you know. It's a true four-seater. It's got you know, plenty of room back there for passengers, plenty of weight on the gross weight there. I don't know the numbers offhand. Oh, coming up. I don't know the numbers offhand. It's something that I'll have to look up. But I'll probably put it into the video and let you know what the actual max gross is for this aircraft. But I mean, you can see it just rips off the ground, no problem. Here we go. We're passing 167 knots, and we're still at full throttle here. So I'll go ahead and I'll pull that back and set to a cruise setting here. So let's bring it back to about say 26 inches of mercury on the manifold pressure there. And we'll bring her down to about 2,200 RPMs. 2,200, 26, okay. So we should get a nice, decent speed out of this. We'll see where it levels off at, but it should be right at about 160 if memory serves, 150 to 160. And we'll keep an eye on our ground speed too, which is showing up right over here. So it's actually the same as our airspeed for the moment. So, got about 160 knots in. It's just a beautiful, beautiful aircraft. It really screams through the sky. You know, comparable to like an A36 Bonanza, I guess, would be a good comparison for this one. You know, that's another fantastic aircraft too that Carinado put out. But we can do another video on that another time. Let's go ahead and check out the autopilot controls here. So, let's bring our autopilot on, altitude hold, and nav hold. And this should get us right on course where we want to be. Whoa, okay, so we want to right click for 100-foot increments here. And we'll bring our nose down just a scotch there. Oh, vertical speed, nose down. And we'll bring it down to 3,500 feet and keep it nice and straight and level there. That gives us a nice final cruising speed of right around 156. It's looking like 156 to 160 in the direction that we're heading. So, you know, just a nice speedy movement all the way from Destin down there to Panama City. So, just a beautiful, beautiful aircraft on the interior. Let's take a look at the outside. We did a little bit of this up in the beginning, so taking a look under here, I mean, you can just see the beautiful lines of this aircraft. This thing, it's called a Corvalis. It looks like a Corvette, you know. It just looks like it's built for speed. Look at the front end on that thing. It just looks like it's just ready to suck in some air and spin that propeller real fast and just get you right where you're trying to go. Thing's got tons of power. So, just beautifully detailed in every aspect. You can see those beautiful gauges and their panel right there on the inside all the way from the outside. You know, everything that you could ever possibly want in a high performance, you know, light aircraft. This thing's got it. I'd really been waiting on somebody to make a Corvalis, and I had no idea that it was actually coming out. So I was looking at the Columbia, which Columbia made basically the Corvalis, and then they were bought out by Cessna, I believe, or something along those lines. And Cessna then came out with the Corvalis, and I think for a while it was called the Cessna Columbia something, Columbia 400 or something like that. I don't know. And then they came out with this new Corvalis, which is really their high performance, you know, aircraft, which is not very different at all from a Columbia. But this is the best one that I've seen made for flight simulator yet. Let's take a look at some of the different views here inside the cockpit. You can see right over here you have your mag switches, your primer, you have your brakes, your parking brake there. This aircraft actually does come equipped with a speed brake as well, so you got an air brake, speed brake there. You can turn on the AC, make it warmer, make it cooler, turn the fan way up, turn it down. All kinds of cool little Easter eggs in here for you that just, you know, increase the flying experience. Show what the outside air temperature is, 57, 58 on the inside of the aircraft. I'll warm it up a little bit. Say I like about 72 inside of my house, so that seems like a good number, yeah. 72 to 78 or so. Let's do 75. So we also have a windshield defroster here, so if you get into some situations where your windshield starts to fog up, then you've got what you need to make that go away. Down here we have our fuel panel. This is the type of aircraft you do have to switch from left to right on occasion, so we'll go ahead and do that now. All your lighting switches are here. You have your strobe lights, bring those on, nav lights on. Landing light, what the heck, we'll go ahead and turn it on. Then you have your FMS system panel right there in the center. Then you have your panel lighting. You can bring those panel lights on. They've got a nice dim switch there. And then also another one, I'm not sure which, I think that does some of your upper panels there, perhaps. And up here you have your avionics switches, altitude, battery, you have your map light, your floodlights. I'll have to do a night flight in this thing to show you the lighting on it at some point. And then you can sit in the back seat once you got your autopilot all set up, sit in the back seat and just kind of watch the world go by. Got a nice view out there of the ocean, you know. Just, well, actually not of the ocean, actually that's the Gulf of Mexico, if we want to be technical here. Again, just a beautifully detailed interior. in this aircraft here. Got your headset jacks down there. I believe there's another set. Yeah, another set right here. Little air vent, doors. Nice thing about the Corvalis is that the doors open on both sides, so it's not just a single side open aircraft like a lot of your Beechcrafts or Pipers are, where you have to climb in through the right hand door, climb over all your stuff, get into the left seat, and then everybody else that's trying to get in has to climb over all this stuff and get to the back. Really with these you can push these seats forward, and then your passengers can hop in and get right in the back seat and pull that seat back, and it's a lot more convenient having doors that open on both sides. So that's a nice benefit of the Corvalis as well. So let's get back in the pilot seat here. We're about halfway to Panama City right now. So saying that we have about another 6 minutes estimated time en route. So let's go ahead and let's do a descent here. Let's bring us down to 1,500 feet, and we'll do that with a vertical speed. Let's go down at about 500 feet per minute. So if we do the math on that, that should take us about 5, 10, 15, about 4 minutes. So 4 minutes of our time, and we'll be down just about traffic pattern altitude for Panama City there. In fact, let's take it down to, let's do 1,000 feet. That should be pretty close to TPA for that airfield. So as you can see, I mean, standard G1000 controls. I mean, the aircraft is just, beautiful. It's wonderful. We've got these nice little flip-up visors, flip-down visors, however you want to call it. Keep the sun out of your eyes while you're flying. I'm really enjoying the level of detail that they put into their aircraft there at Alabeo. You can see some of the lighting there now, yeah. And then you can't reach the other lights right there. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's the other lights. Turn the map light and the floodlights off. Kind of see some of the difference there. So we've still got our cruise power in, and this aircraft's coming down about 173 knots. We'll go ahead and get our ATC information for KPFN, Panama City Baco International. Let's grab our ATIS real quick. Alright, let's change our baro. Two 995, there it is. Alright, let's retune to Panama City Tower now, and bring the tower up 120.5, and we will request a full stop landing. Alright, so it looks like they're giving us the straight in for runway 14. Let's check out our winds here. I like to use option 2, so when we come into 14, we're going to have about a 3 knot or so left to right crosswind, so shouldn't be too much, shouldn't really affect us at all, I wouldn't think. But let's zoom in here, get an idea which way that runway leads. Okay, so let's use our heading adjust here. And we'll swing this aircraft out to the left just a smidge. Switch off of nav and we'll select heading. They got us clearance to land, runway 14. Okay, we'll acknowledge that. At this point, we'll go ahead and bring our prop all the way back up to full, bring our manifold pressure down so we can start our descent. or start our, sorry, not descent, deceleration. I think the hardest thing with this aircraft is to get it slowed down. It's just such a speed demon, it just takes off and runs away from you. So we'll get lined up here for runway 14. Oh, you know what? I screwed that up. I need to come back to the right. That's alright. Bring her around to the right. We use this opportunity to bleed some speed off here. Hit those speed brakes and let's see what happens. Alright, so we got the little V-notch speed brakes there coming off the top of the wing. That'll really bleed some of that airspeed off for us. Alright, let's come back to the left. Alright, obviously the gear is already down on this aircraft, so we'll go ahead and bring our flaps down. Alright, at this point let's go ahead and switch off the old autopilot there. This is probably going to be not one of my best landings ever performed. We'll get it lined up and get it all figured out. Oh no, we're still good. Got plenty of time to turn on that base there. Or turn final, rather. We're on the base right now. So I'd go ahead and make that call to the tower and let them know, hey, tower, we're on a right base for runway 14, wheels down, ready to touch down. So here we go. Go ahead and give it that next landing flaps there. Decrease our power even more. Make a nice slow turn onto final. Make sure our speed brakes are in, and they are. Bring this aircraft around. Get her lined up right on center line. Look at that, we still got about a mile to go. Cut that power way back. We've got about a 2-knot quartering crosswind from the rear left pushing us front right. So we'll just keep that in mind. It's not even enough to really change anything about our approach or our landing. So we'll keep this thing about 75 knots. Bring her in. And we're ready to touch down. So we cut the power back, do our little round out. Look at that. Dead nuts on the center line. We'll let it roll out here. Keep that differential braking in line. Alright, so slow it up and we'll exit off the runway here to the right. So that is the Alabeo Cessna Corvalis 400 TT. So beautiful aircraft brought to you by an amazing manufacturer and also by a great production company, that Alabeo there. They're fantastic, so I can't recommend their aircraft enough. Alright, so we're off the runway now. Tune the ground. Tell them we want to taxi to park, which is probably going to be over there. Alright, Charlie Alpha. Oh, no, we're actually on the right side of the airport here, so that's good. Alright, so we'll taxi it back and then we'll shut it down. I mean, the way that makes sense to me. Again, like I said, I don't have a checklist, so I'll shut it down the way that I would typically shut down an aircraft. We'll get her over to parking first. This thing is just constantly a dancing act here of differential braking just to keep it somewhat centerline. Alright. It's becoming frustrating. Now, I don't know if that's just the way that this aircraft was made in real life. Like I said, I've never flown one, but man, if so, it's a lot harder to do in a simulator than it is in real life. I mean, differential braking is about as easy as a task you can have, but it seems that it becomes difficult in Flight Simulator because there's no gauge of pressure, really. It's just kind of, okay, differential brake engaged, okay, disengaged. So all it means is that you're pressing a brake on one side or the other of the aircraft, but because there's no pressure gauge for that, it just kind of engages full bore on one side and would basically amount to skidding the wheel if you were to do that in real life. But hey, nothing's perfect, I guess, so. Alright, we're almost there to our parking spot. I'm going to give this thing the old community college try at parking it on the center line, but I don't think it's going to happen. All right, let's go ahead and engage our parking brake there. And let's shut her down the way that I would assume that it would go. So we'll bring our avionics off. Make sure ELT is not activated after our landing, and it's not. Bring our flaps up. And we'll go ahead and pull that mixture. I'm sorry. Actually, let's check our avionics here. Bring our avionics off. Shut our landing and taxi lights off. Strobe lights. Bring the avionics master switch to off. Bring the power back on the mixture there. Go ahead and shut the ignition off. And we'll take our batteries and alternators and bring them off. And that's all she wrote. So that, again, is the Cessna Corvalis 400 TT. Look at that. I didn't even do a half bad job parking it either. So 400 TT Cessna Corvalis, beautiful aircraft. Definitely worth a download if you're looking for something that's in the high-speed, lightweight category. Performance is about that of a Beechcraft. A little bit slower because it's got that gear hanging off the bottom there. You do have you know, a nice aircraft here with a lot of good features. Definitely worth the download. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative for you and helps you make an informed decision about purchasing this aircraft. So thanks again for watching, and you all stay classy and have a great day.